What's up? Oh, it's fucking Kirby back here again, bro. We're fucking jamming out, bro. I'm high as balls right now. I'm a bit crossed too. I had a little wine, but welcome back to High Thoughts. Well, this is the first episode. I saw someone kind of make a video like this one time. I had the idea before I even saw the video, but when I saw theirs, it was a lot different than the idea I had. I want to go like in depth on like one topic, you know what I'm saying? So like this episode, it's the term "you tripping," you know, like you're tripping, you know, like you're like so like obviously you know what the term means, right? Like you're tripping off some shrooms or something like that, you know, you're fucking like insanely high. But like if you want to know, like I want to know like who first said that, like, who first said you're tripping, right? You're going on a trip, you know what I'm saying? You're going like, oh, bro, I got some fucking chicken Alfredo here today, you know, we're fucking grubbing up. I had some fucking Taco Bell earlier. But I want to know where the term "you're tripping" originated. Like, who first said "you're tripping"? Oh, so the term dates back to the 1920s. In the 1920s, the first person ever said "you tripping." Apparently, according to dictionary.com, the first person ever in the 1920s said "you tripping," which obviously they did not say it like "you tripping," but they were tripping off some hallucinogenics, and that's what they were saying in the 20s and shit, you know, fucking pre-World War II and shit. They were like, bro, you're fucking tripping, bro, what the fuck, right? Use tripping, basically, I'm sure all of you know this by now, but say it when you're like acting insane. We'll say dictionary.com says when you're acting insane, foolish, or without thinking. And the slang became popular in the 1980s, but it originated in the 1920s, right? Which is crazy, because like imagine someone in like proper English, they're like, "Brother, are you tripping? Are you tripping?" You know, wouldn't that be weird? Like you can imagine the old English accent, right? Like obviously the way I'm talking right now is not how you talked in the 1920s. It's not even close. So like imagine someone in the 1920s say, "You tripping, cuz." Like imagine I went back and said, "You tripping, cuz." They'd have no idea what the fuck I was saying. It feels like, you know what I'm saying? So another thing was that U.S. slang lextrocophager. Fuck that. I don't know how to fucking pronounce that shit. I'll put it on the screen, like how you fucking say it. Peter Tammany argued in American Speech in 1981 that, and he was the first person to ever use the term. He was the first person to ever use the term in a sentence. Someone on Reddit gave an entire backstory, and I'll read it. Uncertainty surrounds the first slang usage of the term. U.S. slang lexicographer Peter Tammany argued in American Speech summer 1981 that the term was first used in slang sense by Jack Gilbert in the connection. Uncertainty surrounds the first slang usage of the term. U.S. slang lexicographer Peter Tammany argued in American Speech 1981 that the term was first used in slang sense by Jack Gilbert in the connection, a 1957 play dealing with heroin addicts. Tammany privately conceded that the usage was not a smoking gun, and in retrospective it appears most figurative than slang. Bro, it's fucking bugging out. So, after my deeper dive, I dove a lot into a lot of journalism papers. A lot of them, one of them titled "The History of American Journalism." I found that in the 20s, it was used more as a metaphor versus the term that we know today. So the term we know today was more used in the 60s, as I just said. It was first really said in the way that we know it today in the 60s. In the 20s, they said, oh, you're tripping, as a lot of times they meant it as like you're tripping across the country, like you're going for a trip across the country. Now, there were hallucinogenics in the 20s, but they didn't really say "you're trippin'" in the 20s. They meant like "you're tripping," as in you're going across the country, because it took a lot longer getting across the country than it does today. So that's what they meant in the 1920s. And in the 60s, what they really meant was so the first person to really ever say it was in 1957. That was Jack Gilbert, who said "you're tripping" first. He was the first person to ever say "you're tripping" in a drug sense. He meant it for heroin addicts, but he also said he meant it as a metaphor as well. But in 1963, Alan Haring from Playboy used the term "trip," and he was the first one to ever say it and mean it, as in like the slang that we know it now today. About it, we know. So now you guys know that the first person to ever say "you're tripping" was in 1963, and it was Alan Harrington, and he was the first person. Alan Harrington was the first person to ever say "you're tripping" in a drug sense and mean it in the slang way that we know it today. So if you guys enjoyed watching, make sure to like and subscribe for more high videos. I'm gonna be releasing these at least once a week, and it's gonna be more of a deeper dive than like what people do, where they'll like have like 50 fucking topics in one video, which is cool. Like, make sure to go check them out. I'm gonna go try to find who I first saw the video from. I thought of it before that too, but I want to give them credit because they did have it first, and I like feel bad if I don't. So I'm definitely gonna tell them. I fucking wrote all this shit down in my journal, by the way. This is my like songwriting journal. So please make sure you guys like and subscribe. If you guys have any recommendations for what I should smoke before I make this, please let me know. If you guys have any topics, I like to think of the topics myself, just because I think of them while high. I'll think of random shit while high. Just write it down in my journal. So, but if you guys do have any ideas, I will go into deep dive. I'm only making these videos while high. So make sure you guys like and subscribe, and hope you guys enjoyed the video.